Disturbing news coming in at the top of a cloudburst that has taken place near Srinagar. Okay, let's then turn to the story that's been building through the day. Barely a week after the Prime Ministers of India and Pakistan broke the deadlock and decided to take their stalled dialogue forward, both countries are now engaged in a blame game over 3 ceasefire violations in the last 48 hours, as well as an alleged spy drone that Pakistan claims to have shot down near the line of control. India has formally lodged protests with Islamabad, and Islamabad has also hit back, claiming that India has violated the ceasefire rules and lodged a strong protest over what they call an airspace violation by an alleged Indian spy drone. The army is also claiming that the Indian drone was being used for aerial photography in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Home Minister Rajnath Singh has held a high-level meeting amidst these ceasefire violations by Pakistan, with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar also joining in. Meeting also attended by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Let's listen in to what the Foreign Secretary has just had to say.
2 additional issues were raised. One pertains to the alleged downing of a drone purportedly from India. The photograph of the drone in question indicates that it is not of Indian design, nor of any UAV category held in the inventory of the Indian Armed Forces. It appears to be of Chinese design and is commercially available off the shelf. He emphasized the seriousness of the unprovoked firing by Pakistan and conveyed that we would retaliate if it continued. Accordingly, yesterday night, our forces retaliated.
What about the ceasefire violations, sir? Ajit Doval spoke to you twice yesterday. Will the ceasefire violations also continue, sir? So any comment on that drone, the complaint that you had made?
I think our side, we start on.
Right, sir.
They have made, our spokesperson also is spoke with the media.
But it was a Pakistani drone, sir. That's the agency that telling us.
Okay, let me go straight across. Gaurav Sawant, our Strategic Affairs Editor, is going to tell us a thing or two about drones. Smita Sharma, who tracks the Ministry of External Affairs, is also joining us. But first to you, Gaurav. The Pakistanis are claiming it's an Indian spy drone. India is claiming this is a Chinese-made drone. The Pakistanis are lying. Tell us exactly what the drone that we are talking about that has led to this latest war of words between India and Pakistan. Give us a sense about this drone first.
Rajdeep, before saying that this Pakistani claim is completely ridiculous, let me just tell you what I'm holding in my hand is the Phantom 3. This is the drone that Pakistan claims was Indian and brought down in Pakistani territory. Why is this claim so ridiculous? Because Phantom 3 is a quad-core. Quad-core basically means it's a quadcopter. There are 4 rotors to this. What does it do? Rajdeep, this can barely fly for 20 minutes. For 20 minutes it can fly. The person who's operating this has to be in the line of sight. It can maximum go 1.5 kilometers, which means the person who's flying this can be seen by those who are firing this very clearly. Rajdeep, this is a ridiculous claim. This is a very, very basic camera, very basic operations by a drone that Pakistan claims the Indian Armed Forces were using. Indian Armed Forces don't use this. This is Chinese. This costs only 1 lakh. It's available on Flipkart, it's available online, it's available off the shelf. Right. Indian Armed Forces, whether the Army, the Navy or the Air Force, they use professional drones which have amazing capabilities, much more than this. This has an endurance of 20 minutes. Right. Our drones have an endurance of 8 hours to 16 hours. This can carry 1 camera. Look at this camera, Rajdeep. It's such a small camera. Basic filming. We have radars and cameras that can shoot in the middle of the night, infrared. We have cameras on our drones, whether the searchers or the herons, that can shoot from an altitude of 10,000 feet, that are beyond the line of sight, beyond firing range of Pakistan. So it's just a joke that Pakistan says this is a drone used by Indian Armed Forces.
Okay, you're giving us a sense of why the Pakistan claim just does not hold water at the moment, but either way, Smita Sharma, the fact is that less than a week after UFA, the 2 sides are engaged in a war of words. So how does India intend to respond? Is the Narendra Modi government still convinced that Nawaz Sharif and the Pakistani establishment are serious about carrying this dialogue process forward, or is there a worry that the army now, the Pakistani army, will call the shots?
Well, Rajdeep, you know, one of the basic purposes of that UFA meeting, which in fact India had initiated really between Nawaz Sharif and Narendra Modi, was to immediately reduce at least the tensions along the line of control and the IB. And, you know, that absolutely seems to be defeated at the moment, because within a week itself, we see hostilities, of course, on the rise yet again. But perhaps the sense is that the Narendra Modi government is trying to send out a message here that they would have a carrot and stick approach, that if the international community, like the US, the Russians, the Chinese, if they want India and Pakistan as responsible neighbors to engage, to talk, they are willing to do so. But as Jaishankar's press conference today clearly laid out the terms of that engagement, saying that if there are cross-border violations, we will go and hit back and respond with adequate force. But unfortunately, while the government wants to maybe perhaps be seen in this light of clarity, what is also sending out is a message of flip-flop diplomacy, where it wants to be seen as doing some grandstanding, even without the situation on the ground having changed an inch from the time when they had called off the foreign secretary talks in August.
Okay, so clearly diplomacy under strain, but as Gaurav has also pointed out, the drone drama which has been created today clearly is not measuring up with what we are finding on the ground. A Chinese drone is being now suggested as if the Indian army was responsible for sending it across the LOC. Gaurav Sawant and Smita Sharma, appreciate your joining us there on that story.